Oh, the motherfucking legend.
What's
Top of the
up
top,
with you?
OG.
What's up with you, man?
Man, it's a pleasure and a motherfucking honor. Listen, I had to put it on for you one time, brother.
Man, appreciate that. Yeah.
Hey, look, I got to go to work, but shit, I had to wake
Yeah.
up out my sleep for this one.
Man, it's all
So,
love, bro.
so I wanted to start off by asking you, right? When did you actually get into producing?
I got into producing, shit, like 89 when I got off the ranch, 89, 90. You know what I mean? I started fucking around with it by default, really. I was just really an investor, man, like I always say. I was just the one that had bought the equipment and shit for Budweiser, my boy Budweiser and them. And they didn't know how to work the equipment. So I started working with it. You know what I mean? I started playing with the equipment and whatnot. And from there I started learning how to tinker with the beats a little bit. And that's kind of like how that happened. I started tinkering around with it, learned how to mess with the sampler. And I just got good at it real fast though too. It happened fast, real fast. And yeah, I made my first hit. Well, I was making beats first with my boy T-Lo, Budweiser, my brother Dre. And when they stopped coming in the house, that's how I started rapping. I got into rapping by default too. You know what I mean? So they wasn't coming in rapping on the beats I was making, so I had to get on that shit myself. So that's how that ended up happening. Yeah, they didn't come in one day, and thank God they didn't. I ended up putting out this song. It was off of EPMD, Your Customer beat. And it was called What About My Nigga? And I just named everybody in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And from there, I ended up making another song. That worked, when people hear their name in a song, man, they go crazy. They gonna support it when you name their name. And I did the same strategy to get Hunters Point. I took it out from my neighborhood and said, let me go on and get my whole neighborhood, the whole community in Hunters Point. So I made another song called Rolling Through the Turfs of HP. And yeah, from there, man, it was off to the races for me. Everybody was like, bro, beats dope, you dope. Yeah, you need to really take it serious. And shit, I was in the music game.
Listen, then at what part did you make Don't Give Me No Bama Joint? We don't smoke that shit up in the Hunters Point. I've been looking for that version of the song forever. I can't find
Yeah,
it
you ain't
nowhere.
gonna yeah, you ain't gonna find that one unless somebody got a cassette tape from back in the from 1990. I'm trying to find it myself. I usually don't. I keep everything of mine, man. I got a bunch of 4-track tapes around here somewhere, and everybody been telling me to find that shit and try to re-put it out. And I'm finna go digging for it, man. It's like ever since I had bought my house, shit get tucked away and lost up in storage, and it's hard to find shit. But when I was moving around at my auntie and all them houses, man, I had that little backpack. Man, I make sure I kept that little duffel bag with all my little 4-track tapes. When I got up in this house, man, I got it. I done hid the shit from myself. So I gotta figure out where that shit at. And I'm gonna put some of that stuff out, man. And the quality ain't as good, but I know people who just want to hear it just to hear how it sounds. You know what I mean? So my dog got to a couple of them. My pit bull I had Red, man. I had a lot of my cassettes in the garage, and I put his ass in there one night when it was raining. Got up in the morning, man. It was fucking, man, holes and my pieces of cassettes all over the floor. He chewed on some of my ADATs. Some of them I was able to patch together. And he chewed through a lot of Hitman stuff that unreleased Hitman album. It was an album called him and Motor Hustler had a group. Damn, it's fucking slipping my mind right now. But him and Motor Hustler had a group together, and yeah, he chewed up all them ADAT reels. Man, a lot of the vocals from that got chewed up, and I'm trying to patch some of that stuff together and find somebody with an ADAT that I can actually bring up some of that stuff and try to do some remixes or something like that. You feel me? And put some of that stuff out. But yeah, I'm gonna try to find that old stuff, man. It might be a couple people from Hunters Point, man, who might probably still be sitting on some of them old classic tapes. Somebody might have some of that stuff. I might have to, put a APB out for some of that shit, man. You know what I mean?
Listen, I watched another interview and heard you say that. I'm like, nigga, that hook sound harder than the first one. I
No, it
said,
was.
hell,
It was hard. Don't give me no Bammer joint. We don't smoke that shit in Hunters Point. That one was raw. Motherfuckers love
did,
that. You know what I mean?
did Mr. C tell you to come up with the like, don't give me no Bama weed. We don't. Did he help
Nah,
you with
that
that?
was all. Nah, that was all me. He just really kind of like a lot of that stuff on that album. Really, all my stuff was all me. You know, he was good with the ideas as far as coming with like the little samples, like get with the program, them little like that little shit that be up in there. Mr. C was good with that. You know what I mean? But as far as hooks and putting the stuff together or orchestrating it for the truth, that was pretty much all me because I was the one like out there in the streets and the one kind of funking with Phil Mo and Sunny Dale going through things like that. So I came up with that idea, like, I think I need to get the city behind it. You know what I mean?
Getting
Mr. C
the
was just
rep.
rolling with the punches. He didn't care. He was like, man, that beat dope as hell. He just wanted to get on it and gobble that thing up. But yeah, I ended up thought about it once I got the TC studio. Like, you know what I mean? I need to make this a Frisco thing instead of just a Hunters Point thing.
And that's what thinking and that's what got the world. Listen, speaking of that song, man, I've heard so many other people versions of that
Yeah,
song. Like,
right.
did anybody ever reach out to you like Snoop, Wiz Khalifa before they did it and try to
Yeah,
get you like on the remix?
not on the remix, but they reached out for clearance purposes. You know what I mean? So Wiz Khalifa did. Everybody else just used the shit. You know what I mean? From even Mr. Fab and them. I mean, everybody, they just, I usually don't be tripping, but yeah, if you're a big dog, I definitely need that clearance. I need that publishing. You know what I mean? We still trying to eat around here though. So yeah, but
And you
nah,
own the rights to the song now.
yeah, that's all me. That whole first album, and the second album too, is all me. I own all that. So yeah, the only thing that's in the question, any RBL album is all me except for like the Eye for an Eye album, which came out on Atlantic Records. That's probably the only one that's still up in limbo. You know what I mean? But even after I talked to them, I told him I was gonna press it up. I called Mike Karen because they never gave me. I had two mandatory albums with them, and they only put out one. So we went through a whole bunch of stuff as far as with the lawyers back and forth, trying to litigate things or whatever, and yeah, it just never worked out. So I ended up telling him like because what they did was they ran my lawyer bill up on me, which they were slick for that. They knew my pockets wasn't as deep as theirs trying to go against a big corporation like that. So they knew my pockets wasn't as deep, and they ran it up on me. My lawyer bill got up to almost like 60, 70,000 trying to fight them to get like 200, like 225. I think they owed me for the second album. If they didn't want to put it out, because they owed me like almost a half a million to go in and record. So they didn't want to give up that half a million unless I came with a with a single for the album. So I sent in two mediocre songs, and which I've played myself. I will say it's my fault. I can't even blame it on them because I just wasn't used to like the way they do things. It was a little bit different for me. You know what I mean? Like they got a system, and I wasn't. I like working on an album. I didn't like working on a fucking single first, just one song, because while I'm making the album, I don't know what can be the single. I like making maybe like 8, 9 songs and then maybe pull something from it, but just going in and make one song and just say this the single, that shit be kind of hard to do, you know. But they gave me the financial backing, they gave me 10,000 to go in and record, and I bullshitted. I ain't gonna lie, I pulled some shit off my reel and just flew that shit to them like, man, fuck all that. Y'all owe me a mandatory album. I was on my Bay Area shit, you know what I mean? Just being ignorant and shit and not really honoring the deal and how they system work. But yeah, I ended up sending them some bullshit, and they didn't go for it. They was like, nah, this ain't a single. We need a single, something we could send to the DJs, the clubs, and I sent them two bullshit songs, so that kind of fractured the relationship, and things went just haywire from there though. But You know, he ended up, like I said, I called him and he told me, like, bro, I ain't even worried about you pressing up that album. You want to press it up, do whatever, you know, we not worried about it. You know, I knew they was going to come back if I was to do something with it, and that motherfucker would have been streaming crazy or went
Yeah,
gold, and
then
they
they would
came
have
knocking
wanted.
at it. Yeah, but the little shit I was doing, pressing up 1,000, 2,000 units, they didn't care about that shit, you know, so, yeah, that's how that went.
Now I gotta ask you about your relationship with P and No Limit.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you first started working with P, did you produce with P too on that West Coast Bad Boys
Nah,
one?
nah, that was all P. You know, I wanted to make some shit for it, but Mr. C wasn't feeling it at the time, so
Oh,
we wasn't even gonna get on the album at first. You know what I mean? Like the second one I produced for it. I produced the song on the second West Coast Bad Boys 2. That's the song we featured Call It What You Want To. It was a song we got had featuring Lavidi on it. And it actually
I,
P gave me love.
um,
He let me release it as a single up in Canada. You know, that thing came out with his own cover. Like it didn't even come out down here. It was on EMI. It was on EMI Canada up there. So it was released as a single up there, and I got a nice little chunk out of that. But it was me, Hitman, and Lavidi, you know, on that thing. So I produced that one. But the first song, trying to make a dollar out of 15 cent. P just caught us in the studio on the fluke. Mr. C was like, he didn't really want to, you know, he didn't want to do no song with him. He didn't really like his rap style and all that stuff. And I'm telling him, like, man, we doing a song for him. You know, it ain't got nothing to do. I don't want to be on a compilation, all this stuff. He just thought it was a flop. It wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
had to honor my guy. So I kind of was ditching him a little bit too. But it just so happened we go over there to work on some shit with Enhancer and them. And Master P up in there finishing up his session. He like, oh, bro, I've been looking for y'all. And you know, I got this song up in here, man. I'm about to close this compilation up, man. If y'all ain't got time to do a song, y'all ain't got nothing for me, man. I got something in there, man. Let me let y'all hear, man. I'm ready to pay y'all for a verse. Me, I'm a businessman. I be trying to get that paper. Mr. C is one of them like diehard lyricists. If you ain't dope, he don't want to fuck with you. Period. Point blank. He into lyrics. I ain't never really been like that. I always been like the businessman when it came to RBL anything. If you got the paper for it, you know, we got the paper contracts together, you know. That's why even now I'm into the licensing of the merchandise and all that stuff. I'm with that. I don't give a fuck what kind of album or movie or whatever is going on. If the money right, I'm with it. But Mr. C is one of them guys like if it ain't pure hip hop, if you ain't a lyricist, if you know ain't dope, he'll fall back. And he even did that to me. You know, when I had a song, that Bluebird song, shit, he didn't want to fuck with that. He thought it was goofy. When I
what?
said the hook, yeah, when I was like, man, there's a bluebird on my shoulder. I was like, man, I got a song dope as hell. Remember the high go seek, the kid thing, the little kid high go seek game? I want to do one based on that, just based on police. Bluebird on my shoulder, can I kill it? And he was just like, all right, now you can do that by yourself. I said, this motherfucker right here. You know what I mean? But when he heard that beat though, when he heard the beat I put together, and he heard me in there the next day doing it, I seen him pulling out his package. I mean, I had 3 verses for that song. You know what I mean? And my third verse never got used, but I had 3 verses. That's why I come in first with 2 verses. You know what I mean? And he heard me in there rapping. He heard the hook come in. He heard my first verse. I seen him over there, and I couldn't hear him because I was in the vocal booth, but I seen him talking to Enhancer, like smiling, laughing and shit, like, oh, that motherfucker hard, like, oh. And when I did my verse, I came out. I'm wondering, like, if he laughing at the song or, you know, I'm like feeling some type of way. Like, what are you out there saying? You know what I mean? My boy in there talking shit. I get in there. He like, bruh, I got to get on this. This hard as fuck. I'm like, oh, you like it? I said, yeah, I thought you would like this. But he said, man, that motherfucker hard. And, you know, he wrote 2 hard-ass verses for that motherfucker. So, you know, we added them all in. I killed my third verse. So I was just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Let my boy on there. And he killed that thing. You know what I mean? Got
It was
on
one
there
of the
and did it
things
justice.
like, if you build it, they will come.
Right. Yeah. Oh, he would have regretted it. If that motherfucker would have came out and been my solo, he would have regretted that one. He would have been mad at the motherfucker, like, damn, bro, I should have got on that. You know what I mean?
Did you
So
hear Ice Cube Ghetto Bird first, or was y'all's before Ice Cube Ghetto Bird?
No, it wasn't a spin off of that. It was just basically off. It was just another like a fuck the police type song. You know, it was definitely
Okay.
influenced, I would say, by NWA and them, but not the. No, it had nothing to do with the Ghetto Bird or the, helicopters. And it was just basically police, fuck the police. You know what I mean? That's all it was. It was really like any type of chip on your shoulder. Like it could be baby mama. It was pretty much anything. You know what I mean? That's giving you problems. But it was basically loosely based about the police, really. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you who redid that song, my nigga. That was one of my favorite albums ever. Tell me you done heard Fat Tone redo y'all shit. That
Nah, he
we
did.
spent fully automatics. Can you feel it? We spent
Oh
fully automatic. We got fully,
nah.
man. You got it. Oh my
Is
god.
that right? I never heard that.
Please, it's man. It's I think it's on that. It's Matt Dre on that album too. Uh, the Loonies on that album. It's the shit when he beat the murder case.
Oh,
And
that's
the picture
dope.
is him like with the back up in the hospital. My nigga, when I tell you Fat Toe killed that shit, I was like, man, if fucking RBL
Oh yeah,
Posse
I'm
was
about
to
to
get,
go. Yeah, I'm about to do my Googles on that. Get on YouTube. I'm quite sure it's up. I ain't never heard that.
he took
No.
the same beat too.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I'm about to get that and repost it, man. Yeah, I'm about to post that, man. That's dope.
Look, that now I know nobody ever asked you this. Look, my OG partner, man, we used to smoke weed. We used to watch videos, and there was one video in particular that y'all
Hmm.
did. It was y'all, Mystical, and OG Big Lurch. And
Right,
y'all was in
right,
the
right.
club.
How we coming?
Listen, chat like my OG RIP Dave, he died, but I gotta ask you this for Dave. That part where they had Mr. C, the guard had Mr. C pinned up against the wall, and you
Right,
come
right.
out the Saudi port.
Hitman. Yeah, Hitman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hitman.
Hitman.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you hit him with the nightstick and y'all
Yeah.
ran back through the Saudi port, did y'all fall on mistake or was that shit planned?
Nah, that was a mistake, man. I was fucked
I
my
told
hands up and
ah!
shit too. That wasn't Hitman slid because they wet the floors and shit to make it look shiny. You know how they do. They like when you shoot a video at night, the motherfuckers will wet the streets and all that. So they kind of wet it, and they was trying to let it dry down just a little bit. But when we hit the corner, this Hitman slid into me, into my legs. And I hit my motherfucking elbow and my hands hard as fuck. I was hurting like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. We ran over. He just said, keep going, because I was injured like a motherfucker on that
I
scene.
said, hey, look, I
Yeah.
told my niggas was like, man, they playing that shit. There ain't no way they keep no shit like that in the video. I'm like, hell
That
nah.
shit wasn't playing, man. That Hitman slid into. If you really watch it, you'll see Hitman legs. He trying to slow down, and he slipped into me, and I'm trying to hit the corner, and he clipped the bottom of my feet, man. And I fell hard as motherfucker. And he laughing and shit. I was mad at the motherfucker. When I
Did y'all have to
ran
postpone the video
out the
or y'all
scene.
keep going?
Nah, we postponed. I mean, we hold it and held off for a minute. That's pretty much the end of the video. That was some of the last scenes because we got most of the video done. So that was pretty much at the end of the day, right there. Because they shoot it in different sections, so that all that guard part was pretty much towards the end of the day, and a lot of our solo scenes was already done. That scene and the scene with Mystical tied into the when they had him on that little wheel, the little crane thing where they wheeled him out. A lot of that all happened towards the end of the night. Yeah.
And like any like the situation with what was you still around Big Lurch when he had his situation like that sent him to the pen ultimately?
Nah. Big Lurch was he was down in LA for a minute. You know what I mean? I was really only around Big Lurch when he was working with Rick Rock in the studio. Once he left Mike Mosley in Rick Rock's studio, I wasn't too much talking to him. That Lurch had made me mad too at the time. I mean, that's my guy, but he was, I let him get on that song, and after the video, I felt some type of way because Lurch tried to get down there and tried to charge niggas, tried to upcharge a motherfucker like we was some goofies or something. That shit pissed me off because he wasn't even supposed to be on that song. You know what I mean? And we got tight over in the studio. Me, him, Rick Rock, Dooney Baby. I mean, all of us, the whole little Federation crew. They was Ken Smoke at the time. They wasn't Federation. You know what I mean? Goldie and all them. We was all tight as hell. You know what I mean? We was good. But Lurch kind of begged me to get on the song. He's like, man, Mystical, my favorite rapper, Black Blood, please. And I wasn't even gonna let him on. It was supposed to be me, Hitman, and Mystical. You know what I mean? Because I was a fan of Mystical. So I ended up letting him get on it. Then we get over there, you know, and what happened was he heard Mystical. By the time we got shot the video, Mystical had ended up signing the Master P in them. So he and Master P ended up hitting us up like, you know, hitting Atlantic up and telling them like, you know, we need a little bag for Mystical, you know, because we had got him for that verse. I think we got him for like 2,000 to do the verse. He didn't really want no money. I just had the budget, so I just slid him 2,000 because he didn't want it. He came and spent the night at my house that time, and we were like, Mystical was cool as fuck. So business was business. Master P ended up getting at me about it. He knew we had a budget for the video. He like, Black, you know, I'm not charging y'all. I'm charging Atlantic Records. So, you know, it's business. So I understood, you know, and Master P got at me directly, so it wasn't no thing. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, it's all good, you know. So we ended up paying him damn near like 10,000 just to come do the video. We gave him 7, then we had to pay for like ride back and forth, hotel, all that, but in the budget, he hit me for about 10, and Mystical and Lurch was down there talking, and he tried to come over to us and was like, Black, bro, you know, I heard y'all paid Mystical, you know, man, won't you try to slide me like 5,000, tell him to pay me to be on this song, on this video, you know, I'm ready to tell him that I don't want to do it. I'm like, what? Like, he was ready to fuck up our shit because he's trying to work Atlantic for a few times. I'm like, bro, you should have said that shit like a week or a month ago, where I could have had time to take your ass off the song. I said, man, you ain't finna tell Atlantic and none of the reps who down here with us that you want anything. I said, if not, we're going to postpone this shit. It's going to cost me more money to get Mystical back out here, and I'm taking your ass off the song, period. You know what I mean? So we had a little argument. My guys down there was ready to jump on him, the whole shit. But, you know, we ended up letting it slide. He was like, well, no, bro, I don't want it like that. I said, yeah, nigga, you wasn't even supposed to be on this song. Nigga, I'll let you be on it, just looking out for you, knowing that this is going to be a big platform for you. This on Atlantic Records. You with your favorite rapper. You with Mystical. He hot now. You know what I mean? And, nigga, this is going to be exposure for you. Look at that as your payment. You feel me? And he understood. You know, that nigga changed that attitude real fast. But, you know, it kind of fractured our relationship a little bit because after that, I was like, man, I ain't fucking with this nigga like that no more. You know what I mean? He tried to do some pull fast one because he hearing us, you know,
52 fake
pay
out.
this nigga. Yeah, I didn't like that shit. So, but, you know, we good now, though. He be hitting me and shit. He actually hit me up the other day and shit and sent me some love and shit, you know. Him and his son be hitting me. You know what I mean? So, we good.
Yeah, I be talking to his son, too.
Yeah, they hit me up. So, ain't no love lost, you know what I mean?
Hey, look. That song you got, Rat-a-tat-tat?
Yeah, Rat-a-tat-tat, yeah.
Look, let me ask you something. That video, nigga, is that a 1969 XRX Cougar? The car in the video?
Nah, that ain't a Cougar. That's the Skylark. That's a 6.6 Buick Skylark.
My nigga, listen. I used to fuck with the Skylark until
we Buick men out in Frisco, man. We be fucking with them Buicks, man. The city and EPA, East Palo Alto and shit, man. We fuck with them Buicks heavy, especially them Skylarks and shit. You know, a lot of the OGs be fucking with the Rivieras and Wildcats and all that shit, but young niggas out, we 7.6.6s, some 6.5, but 6.6 to 72, 73. We fuck with them Skylarks all day. You know what I mean? That's what we ride them things. You know what I mean? I had a 72, 71, and I still got my 6.6. That was my boy Harry Bird car up in there. You know, but we damn near rolling looking like twins and shit. Yeah, that was my boy Harry Bird car. He got a 6.6 Buick Skylark Special. You know, with them things on it.
I had a Skylark and I got a Cougar. I got both of them. Well, I had the Cougar first. Man, when I heard that nigga Dre say you ain't nothing but a mark and a fucking Skylark, all type of bad shit started happening to that car.
Right.
I said, God damn. Hey, so look. So look, tell me about a time, man, somebody like you never expected to be a fan of RBL Posse came up knocking your shit or came up like giving you love. I'm talking about like old school nigga like
man,
Filmo Slam or Black Sea or
head, man. Off the top of the head, we ain't even gotta go no further, man. When EPMD came up to me.
Ooh.
And told me, man, Eric Sermon came up to me, man, when we was down there in where the fuck was we at? We was in we had a show with them back in like this is when we first came out, was hotter than fish grease. We was out there in fucking it was either Fresno, Visalia, somewhere down there, and he was just like, bruh, he said, man, y'all RBL Posse. He said, man, I was with this chick just the other day, man, like about 2 weeks ago, who put me on to y'all. He said, man, y'all shit dope as hell. He like, man, that the whole fucking album. And I knew he wasn't bullshitting, because he said, man, it's a song that y'all got on there where y'all use my K Solo track. And he was talking about More Like an Orgy, you know, the Big Bang Theory or whatnot, from Parliament, Funkadelic. And he was just like, man, I heard that shit, man. I had to go get y'all whole album. Said, I'm riding with this chick. She playing the shit out of it. I'm trying to put something on, and she telling me, hell no, you ain't taking this out. You need to listen to RBL. You know, these my West Coast folks, and we won't this and that. And he said, man, he listened to that whole album. He said, man, they all got some shit on that album. He said, man, I had to go get the fucking cassette myself. He said, when I listened to it, I'm like, oh shit, they used the track I used, K Solo, and flipped it a little bit harder. You know what I mean? And man, that felt good, because we respected them and looked up to them. My first song I ever made was made, like I said, off of You're a Customer beat. So it was just like, damn, you know what I mean? It just hit me like, damn, man, motherfucker in this shit starting to meet motherfuckers who a nigga looked up to. You know what I mean? He was on the block slanging dope, you know, bumping they shit. You know what I mean? So now that off top, that was like one of the best feelings ever to hear Eric Sermon come up to us and respect us too, because we wasn't even coming up to him on some star shit. I mean, on some groupie shit, trying to get autographs or asking them to listen to the music. We was all sitting there laid back. Me and Mr. C, we real laid back. You know, we don't, you know, we'll respect you or whatnot. We might come and say what's up, maybe ask to get a flick or something, but we wasn't all just like all on their nuts like that. And yeah, he respected that. You know what I mean? He came up to us and was like, man, I love the way all y'all dudes is low pro. Y'all just sitting back, chilling. He said, everywhere we go, motherfuckers want us to listen to their music. They rapping in our ear. He said, you motherfuckers sitting back like, fuck them niggas over there. We were like, nah, it ain't like that. We just, you know, we just don't be on that shit like that. You feel me? But yeah, man, that was a memorable time right there.
He said EPMD. Damn right.
Yeah, man. EPMD.
So when you was watching Wallow and Gilly and they shouted you out on that,
man, that
how
felt
did that
good.
feel? You know, that's the most popping podcast right now.
I know, that felt good to hear that come out of what. Usually, man, we be left out a lot of conversations when it comes to even Bay Area hip hop historians or whatever you want to call it. Whenever they just talking about groups or rap or whatever in the Bay Area, a lot of motherfuckers kind of be leaving RBL out. I'll be pissed off about a lot of these lists, about a lot of these songs, or you know, top Bay Area songs, top Bay Area groups or music or whatever. RBL a lot of times, our diehards, don't get me wrong, our diehards go hard for us sometimes. You know, we have a few people who fight for us in the comments and shit, but you know, we get left out of a lot of shit. So to hear Wallow say that, because even you know, even E40 and them, they might talk about groups. Even Short done gave us props before a few times. He didn't say nothing about us, just speaking on the Bay Area. But I heard him on Vlad TV one time, who mentioned, you know, when he was talking to Vlad, he mentioned about it back in '92. How when we came out, you know, we fucked the streets up. And that shocked me to hear him say that, because I usually don't hear none of them speak on us. You know what I mean? And we was in a lot of rooms and rocked a lot of stages with them early on. But I can't blame it, because it's really me being out there keeping the torch lit. And it's like, you know, sometimes you be out of sight, out of mind. So if I'm not trying to keep RBL relevant and steady out there, you know, waving that torch around, it'll slip your mind. You know what I mean? It'll get quiet and people forget. So I don't blame them. It was just that we lost Mr. C, and it's been a hiatus. It's been a long time before we dropped the RBL album. You know, the last album was in like 2001. So, you know, it's just me as Black C. I've been just keeping that RBL name alive, you know, with my solo ventures and shit not or whatnot, and also with merch and doing licensing deals. But for the most part, you know what I mean, I ain't mad at them, you know what I mean, because a lot of time it ain't purposely done. You know what I mean?
Keep it real with you. See, when it comes to me, when I feel like West Coast, the most talent that came out of these two cities, man, Vallejo and Frisco.
Right.
And to me, y'all was the West Coast version of UGK. And then when I found out you produced that shit,
yeah.
nah,
On my first two, you know, aside from a couple on the second album, I produced everything on the first album except G's by the 1-2-3s. And the second album, I produced maybe like 50, about 60%. I give Stelsky a couple of them on there in Enhancer. Stelsky probably produced maybe, I think Stelsky probably produced maybe two to three, and Enhancer produced maybe two or three too. Enhancer probably and produced. So I think we had like maybe 15, 16 songs. I maybe did 10. They did maybe 4 to 5 together or something like that. I can't really remember. I have to go and look. But yeah, I did a lot of production. All the Hitman album, all the NOH album. NOH except one. Selsky produced one on the NOH album. I got nothing but love for Mr. C. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, but early on, I was doing everything until Mr. C got killed, and I kind of slacked up a little bit, man. And I ended up changing directions. I started trying to find something else, man. Just that the love wasn't in it no more. You know what I mean? So I ran into Rick Rock, and Rick Rock pretty much took over the Eye for an Eye album, and that was mainly produced by him. I'd say probably about 70% of that album was all Rick Rock. I probably had maybe 2 songs on there that I produced. Maybe I only maybe got 2 or 3 tracks on that. You know.
This Young Lot, when he put you on this How to Survive, and I've been knocking this shit since it came out.
Yeah.
Like, is he from your section at HP?
Yeah. Well, he ain't from my neighborhood, but yeah, he from my community. He from Hunters Point. You know, Hunters Point got different projects up there. You know, you got Flatlands where you got Q Street and Thomas and Keith, and you know, it's just 1/3 Street, whatever, right? And then you got the Hill where it's the projects where you got the Shore Views, the Osceolas, the Oakdales, Harbor Road, West Point, and all that. So I'm from Harbor Road. He from the Flatlands. You know what I mean? So. We from Hunters Point though. We all rep that HP though to death. You know what I mean? And that's really all that matters. You know what I mean? Is we HP to the
when I was younger,
man,
and I was hearing about Hunters Point, I was only hearing about it on some pimping shit. So
right.
I ain't know that shit was like y'all was knocking shit loose. I started watching documentaries of how spunky that shit. I said, God damn.
Funky. You know what I mean? We wasn't really gangbangers. A lot of times I say, you know, during the time we was gangbanging, but it really wasn't gangbanging. It was really some turf shit. You know, in Frisco, it's really like on some turf shit, some neighborhood shit. And but I mean, it worked the same. It's still sort of like damn near Crips and Bloods in different neighborhoods out there, but it ain't necessarily like gang banging like that. You don't get jumped in and all that shit. You grow up, you know, you go to school and grow up with certain motherfuckers, and you gonna ride or die for them. You know what I mean? You same motherfuckers who you go to school with, you hustling with them. So if they get into something, you into something. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? And when that crack hit, shit, and niggas start getting money, and niggas start being able to afford pistols and shit got crazy. You know, and yeah, it caused it was a crazy era at that time. You know what I mean?
Like the keep it on some hip hop shit, man. We got a game. Let me show you the box. Back. It's called the Nothing to Lose Podcast Hip Hop Trivia. Now I want to ask you about 3 to 5 questions and see if you can get it right. Like, what do you want the easy deck or do you want the hard deck?
Man, give me the easy deck. I ain't no serious hip hop. I know what I know. You know, when it comes to this shit, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a West Coast junkie. But when it comes to all that shit from the early '80s and you know how hip hop began, man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm at to guess on a lot of that shit.
we coming out with different versions. We gonna come out with a version just for the West Coast.
Give me a little bit from each one. Give me 3 easy. I mean, it's up to you. Just pull them, motherfucker. Let's see what we got. Let's see what happens.
All right.
I might just do a pass. If it's something I really don't know, we go pass on that motherfucker. You can educate me or whatever. You know what I mean?
All right, we're gonna start it off like this, right? So this Dallas, Texas MC came on the scene next to Dr. Dre with his hit single "The Formula," but his career was cut short due to a car accident that hurt his voice box.
Oh shit, that was easy. That's the DOC.
Right.
That came from the easy deck, huh?
Yeah. Nah, I done hit a lot of people get it wrong.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Damn, the doc.
Like, not letting anything stop him. This rapper was the first rapper to record a full album while incarcerated called Back to the Hood.
While incarcerated, it gotta be Mac Dre.
I feel like the only reason why you got that because you from the Yak.
Nah, but he the first person I knew to record from jail. That's why I knew. I didn't know the name of the album though. To be honest, I just know he was the first. And that album, I really didn't. I remember playing it, but I didn't like the way it sounded because he was rapping through the phone or whatever, and I couldn't take that shit at the time. Now people like that shit. I can actually listen to that shit. It's classic now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in
But
motion.
time,
What?
I think it was a blue. Wasn't it like a blue album cover or some shit like that or something? It was. I think it was blue, and I forgot the artwork for it, but I actually played the CD. I just was like, I can't. I think I played a couple songs and took that shit out because it wasn't the Mac Dre I knew. I was like, I got to hear Mac Dre on the mic. I couldn't fuck with it, but now, man, I could listen to all types of shit like that. This motherfuckers who making classic songs sound like that phone sound. That shit sound dope as hell now.
You know something that fucked me up? The first time, all right, so when I watched the video, I think that shit was like on the box, the Don't Give Me No Bama Weed. And you remember how you had the Frisco hat flipped up with the coat? The first time I seen Mac Dre in a magazine, he was dressed like that, so I thought he was you.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we used to wear our hats like that in the Bay back in the days, man. Niggas, that was during that era where motherfuckers was wearing like blackmail jeans, troops, cross colors, and you know, you was having the overalls on. You might have on the blackmail overalls with your hat on. You might go to Granny Goo-Goo's, get you a turf hat, and you flip that beak up on that thing. You know what I mean? So I wore my shit like that, like crazy back in the day. I don't do the shit now. I like my shit regular, but yeah, that was a style back in the day. And Mac Dre was actually one of the first to actually do that because I think his radio when he was doing
Too Hard for the Radio?
California, yeah, Too Hard for the Radio and that California. I think a couple pictures he had his shit up first. Yeah, California. I think he had his shit up first, if I ain't mistaken. But yeah, that was just a style that we had back in the days, man. Everybody was wearing that shit like that in the Bay Area. Well, a lot of people were to the back. It was either to the back or it was flipped up.
I tried that shit once. I give Mac Dre credit for me driving the Cougar and that being my favorite car. I give you the credit for me wearing the Frisco shit. And one day I had my shit flipped up and the homie tried to clown me. We got the chunking them after that, nigga. He was like, oh, this, what was the nigga? Richie. Oh, that nigga said, oh, you think you one of the Bay niggas? Oh, look at Richie Rich. I said, nigga, what fool? And we got we got the chunking them. But look, Escape debut album. Humming Coming At You is a lyric from what Cypress Hill song?
You said what was the lyric you said?
Escape debut album, Humming Coming At You is a lyric from what Cypress Hill song? You remember when it was like humming coming at you?
That's How Can I Kill a Man? I don't know if that's the title of the song. I just know the song.
That's the title of the song.
And you know I had to get you. Some shit. Yeah, that was is it called Kill a Man?
Yeah, it's
Kill a Man.
How could I just kill a man?
Yeah. That was
all right.
Shit.
Yeah, you fucking this shit up. Hey, look, E40 and Nas both had a great version of the song "One Love," but which rap group made the song first?
Oh, that was E40. Made One Love. You come on?
No. Okay, so who? I'm gonna say it over. E40 and Nas both had great versions of the song "One Love," But what
Oh.
what rap group made the song first? They was from New York.
Oh, first? Oh, Houdini. I thought you said
Right.
all of them. Yeah, Houdini had that first.
This right here gonna fuck you up. Name the future R&B diva that was a part of Sugar Hill Records' first female group, The Sequence.
The first female artist, solo artist that was in Sequence.
Well, she was in a group. Okay, she wound up becoming like a super R&B diva, but she first started on Sugar Hill Records, and the name of the group was Sequence.
I know Sequence. I just don't know the No, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of was Sequence the one that sing that Funk You Up? Funk You. Right? That ain't Sequence, right? Is that them?
I ain't even gonna lock on
that. I don't know that one. That one, you went deep on that one. I don't know who the hell that is. Who was that?
It was Angie Stone.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I just saw that too on fucking Unsung, on somebody's Unsung.
That's actually where I got it from.
Oh, you got it from Unsung?
Yeah. I had to do my research.
I just saw that too. That's why I said I just got mixed up a little bit, but I just saw that, dude. I just saw that. Yeah, okay.
You got everyone right besides that one. This is gonna be the last one.
All right.
Who was the first rapper to drop 2 platinum albums in 1 year? Is it A, DMX, B, Eminem, C, Notorious B.I.G., or D, Tupac?
No, that's big, B.I.G.
It was Pac, All Eyes on Me.
Nah, DMX was that.
DMX was in 98. So it was Tupac with All Eyes on Me.
Oh, you doing the double dip. That was a trick question.
Yeah.
That was a trick question. I'm tripping. I'm thinking DMX, and I remember he was the first to actually drop 2.
He was the first. Yeah, he was the first to drop. Like literally, you had it right, technically, because it was DMX who dropped 2 different albums.
You're right.
But a double album cost $22.
Right. That was what I said. That was a cheat code what Pac did. That really was one album, but it was a double album, so it counted as 2. But they sold it as a package. You couldn't go buy one without the other one, so that don't really count. That was a cheat code, right there. That was
like won't nobody spending no $22, $23 on no damn album back in the day.
Nah, Pac, everybody, man, that motherfucker was spending that money. You know what I mean? But CDs when they first came out, them motherfuckers was like $17 and shit. You know what I mean? You had to spend that money like with that tax and everything. Your ass would then be up to 20, depending on where your ass at. But yeah, they wanted their paper for them CDs when them CDs first came out. You know what I mean? Because motherfuckers was wholesaling at like $11 and something for cassettes. When CDs came out, I think we was wholesaling at $13, $14. Them motherfuckers was like $17.99 or 18, like 18 something or something up on that shelf. So yeah, you would spend that money. But Pac started kind of like getting cheaper though. You know, everybody started undercutting everybody, catch them sales. You catch them on them racks for $9.99, $11.99. That's when Pac, hit their ass up with that, like you said, that double CD where motherfuckers go in there and spend that $24, $22, $23 for that motherfucker.
Look, one last question. This shit just popped up in my head. What was your introduction to hip hop? Like the first tape or first any type of music you ever brought? Hip hop.
That was Sugar Hill Gang. That's why I used it on my album, The Lesson to Be Learned. Sugar Hill Gang. Yep. The hip hip. How you don't stop? Rock it on. That was my first. My mama played that shit. That Sugar Hill Gang, man. That motherfucker. I knew that shit front to back. Especially when dude, the verse when that nigga talk about the food and all of the food, chicken tastes like wood. Salad here. Man, that shit was funny to me. I loved it. That beat, the whole shit. That was my introduction. You know what I mean? Right then and there, my mom playing the shit out of that motherfucker. I think we was in Sunnydale at the time. That was like 1980, going into 81. Yeah, I think that was my first time hearing that shit, and I fell in love with it. It was a 12-inch record. You know what I mean? I always remembered that record with that crazy-ass little logo, little swirl looking different color, red, yellow, blue, whatever swirl shit. and it always stood out to me. And that same record that she played back then is the same record that I sampled for my album. You know, she kept all her records from back then, and yeah, I used that same fucking record to actually make a lesson to be learned. So
Look,
yeah, that
if
was
you
my
can
first.
challenge one person, it don't matter if they from the city, Frisco, the Bay, East Coast, anybody, to take this challenge, this hip hop trivia, who would you challenge?
Challenge to take it.
Yeah,
Like an artist.
yeah. We gonna come see him too. They got to get 5 right.
Hit my boy JT the Bigger Figure up.
JT the Bigger Figure. Damn right. I'm gonna say
Call out
JT.
My boy JT the Bigger Figure, man. Put him through it.
One last question, man.
I think he'd be good, and Selsky too. If you can get him, I would love to see Selsky knowledge on some shit too. Selsky pretty dope when it comes to this shit too, because he was a little hip hop junkie. His damn self.
I'm gonna try both of them. Look,
yeah.
This is the last question. When you heard Maxie Marvin saying Quinn, they remind you of RBL Posse?
Nah, not really. They had their own swag to it. And, you know, it was a little bit different. You know, them Sean T beats and shit. It was a tad bit different. The only person that lately that reminded me of us, and it's mainly because of the flow and everything, and certain like beat selections, was Larry June. You know, He kind of brought me back to some of our lyrics and our swag from the first album. You know,
good job, Larry.
He definitely, you know, he definitely was a breath of fresh air, and was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like my guy. Yeah.
Matter of fact, shit, I'm gonna try Larry June too, and I might have to get him the easy deck because he's a little younger.
Right. Might be surprised. Some of these dudes, man, ain't no telling, man. They might surprise you.
But this been a blessing, man, and a privilege to be with to be with one of my favorite Frisco and Bay Area rappers and producers of all motherfucking time.
Appreciate
Black
that.
C.
Yes, sir.
Man, and you and your family, man, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and all of that.
Man, you too, man. Yeah, definitely check out that book, man, Black C.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need me a signed copy of that thing.
Yeah, from the block to the booth, man. You know, it's a nice book, good story, you know, autobiography, all facts in that thing, man. And yeah, I've been getting good feedback. Everybody loving it. So we're gonna try to take the next step with it, man, and hopefully try to, even though I got to put up my own money, man, we're gonna try to put together and try to put a movie or a little series thing or something with that thing. So that's coming next. Once you got the book, you pretty much got a script. So yeah, be checking for it. And also, I just dropped a little snippet of that new single off that new album that I got coming next year. So motherfuckers, check that out. It's called Get It Cracking. And just
y'all come up with the movie. I'm gonna audition for a part of that motherfucker.
Man, for sure that.
I'm gonna have that hat flipped up, the nose ring, everything.
Hey, for real. Yeah. A young Black C, man. For real.
Facts. But lose weight before it gets skinny on their ass.
Hey, for sure, man. Hey, you can play my boy Big J, man. You ain't gotta lose too much weight. You know, I had the big hog with me, man. You know, my boy Big J, man. Shit, who got framed for murder and shit, and got life and ended up getting out beating the shit. Lady ended up coming forward and told she lied, man. My boy then got free, man. You know, he was a big dude, man. He was the big brolic bully, man. You know what I mean, around there. So hey, we gonna have roles motherfuckers to play. You might not even have to lose no weight. Shit.
Okay. Hey, look, I'm definitely gonna tap in. Like the next time I tap in with you, I've been to read that book, OG.
For sure, man. Let's make it happen, bro. Get with me.
All right, one love, man.